Larry the Chesperado Cohen here. I'm going to bring you various videos on chess oddities, chess intricacies, and chess laughs. Today I'm going to talk about team names and the U.S. amateur team. The U.S. amateur team has been run for well over 25 years in 4 different parts of the country, and actually for over 50 years in the East. Team play, as you hopefully have experienced, is fun and challenging. It's fun to watch your teammates' games, challenging to figure out what's going on in the entire match. It's fun and challenging to get four players together, especially since you have to stay under a 2200 rating average. So there's always the challenge of trying to find just the right mix of players and just the right ratings to hit your magic rating number, whether it's 2199 or much lower for a class prize. And finally, there's the fun and challenge of a team name. One of the best things, I think, about the amateur teams. Traditionally, the teams have team names have often been some sort of play with the word chess or chess-related items in it. Typically, you have team names that are chess and culture-related. You have team names that are just pure chess. And you have team names that are related to news and events of the day. Some of the past team names for the culture ones, things like Future Shock, C-H-A-A-C-H, My Flag Has Fallen, I Can't Get Up, I Saw Elvis, Little Sock of Horrors, Tales from the Crypt, Ever Retty, You Rook Marvelous, One Night in Bang Clock, Rook Shields, Chess X-Men, Kasparov and the Friendly Ghost, for those of you who remember the Casper the Friendly Ghost movie. You've Got Mate, B. John Fedorowicz, Elvis Impersonators, Joy of Mating, Coolhan Lucina, Beat the Clock, Mate Worse Than Death, May the Fork Be With You, used a number of times, Morphy's Law, Here's Rook King at You, Kid, The New Kids on the Board, Something About That Chess Space, A Little Night Music, 101 Dalmatovs, as opposed to 101 Dalmatians, or I think there was also that same year a team called 101 Notations. Not sure about that. The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, the Kinitzer, and Mr. Can I Take That Back? Chessmen Walking, the Fisher Kings, Dead Pawns Tell No Tales, Miley's Sacrifice Isn't Twerking, Rishianan's Famous Hot Dogs, sort of a play on the old Nathan's Hot Dog eating contest that happens on an annual basis. Whose Move Is It Anyway? For those of you who remember, Whose Line Is It Anyway? A Loss Pour Your Rook. Alkine Batteries. A team name winner, by the way, at one point. For a Few Tie Breaks More. 3 Men and a Bobby. 4 Dog Night. Pawn Shop Quartet. Einstein and the Three Stooges. Not really sure about that one. We use the force, mate. Rooked on pawnees. Forking with Tebow's knights won't. Yeah, forking with Tebow's knights won't lead to mate. The tempo of doom. And there are the ones that are chess related, more pure chess, although this one sort of is a crossover. Hickory dickory dock, we're going to win a clock. Because often in the years past, often the prize was for the winning team was a chess clock. 3 pawns and a lawyer. The unstoppable losers. Fianchettoed bishop, or are you just glad to see us? Forfeit by disconnection. Cambridge Springers. Horsepower. Barbaric Queens. We played the endgame like Carlson. Pawn Stars. Also a crossover one. Diagonally Challenged. The Forgotten Polgar Brothers. Play on the Polgar system, of course. Dead of Night. Shallow Blue. The year that Kasparov lost to Deep Blue, by the way. Mate by Night. 75% pure Shahade, with the 3 Shahades and a 4th person as well on the team. Mating.net. Swiss Gambiteers. Fork U. Not ready at all. Karpov Baggers. The Short Diagonals. 3 Masters and a Disaster, which was a team of 3 Masters and an A player. Hence the name, I guess. None Too Tall, Short by Miles. Quadrupled Pawns. Tickle Me Elo, which was during the Tickle Me Elbow craze, and that one also was a name prize winner. The Unstoppable Losers. Keane, Watson, but Miles short. I'm not sure where Watson fits in there. Don't Ivanchuk a pawn. Falk Bear on tap. And actually, there was once a team that showed up with beer for the tournament. Unfortunately, the laws at the time did not allow for beer at the site, and the team was most unhappy to end up eventually having the security people pour that beer down the drains. They were very unhappy about that. Too Hort to Handle. Ready for Fine Moves. Old Indians. Endless Nights. Get Your Karpov by Benoni. Zugzwang Action. Winning Chances. For those of you who don't know, we used to have the sometimes delay, the sudden death without delay, and there was a rule that with some delay around, there was a rule that if you started without the delay clock and you got down to less than 5 minutes, you could claim no losing chances, which was a draw for, and hopeful for most people was a hope of getting the clock put on the game with a delay. Unsound Combination. Long Hard Nights. Knights of the Square Table. Chestnuts Roasting on an Open File. Also a team name winner. Overdrawn Checks. Dubious Moves, question exclaim. This team had the nice idea of hats with a question exclaim on top of it. And then Our Lady of Perpetual Check for ladies who had nun habits on. And finally, there was also a one-year team of 4 young ladies called themselves Vera Menchek, the Next Generation. And there are, of course, the news politics type items, such as positionally incorrect. Ghana Tarish Saddam, searching for Bobbitt Stitcher. That relates to the Lorena Bobbitt incident many years ago. Mr. Clinton, your piece is hanging. If the crowd don't fit, you gotta quit. Black pieces matter. Fed agents on the grassy knoll. Jeffrey Dahmer's missing pieces. Eponics. Peacekeeping forces. Peace spelled P-I-E-C-E. The Affordable Care Act. NSA is perpetually checking, which is probably some people's opinion. Snowden defense, retreat to Moscow. Waiting to exchange. Christie's decree to Gary, take the Tappan Zee. Reference to Governor Christie closing down the Washington Bridge in New Jersey a few years back. Now let's get on to the current team names from this year's event. 2021 was different than 2020. 2021 was online, and 2020 actually the February events were all held in person. So you had IPC, in-person chess. But for 2021, it was online, different from in the past. Also different from the past, all 4 tournaments were held on separate, different weekends, something that had never happened before. And finally, individual and teams were not only allowed, but encouraged to play in multiple events. So people could play in the Amateur Team North, the Amateur Team East, the Amateur Team West, and the Amateur Team South. I don't know if there was any individual or team that did all 4 of the events. Hopefully there will, eventually in the magazine there will be some mention of about that. Chess Online US Chess only has a report on the Amateur Team West at this point. No other reports. That's one of the reasons why I thought I'd bring this to you, so you could hear and get a feel for the various team names. I don't know who was the best team name in the South. That was the final one to go, and I haven't been able to find exactly where that is. And I have a list of a few of the names. A Hairy Jittery Knight, Great Wall of Pawns, Quarantine, Ronin's Henchmen, Snake Eaters, Monty Python, 4 Knights, The Teens Gambit, The Rookies, Kings of the River Valley, Katie Knights, Chess Ninja, Gambit Coin, one word by the way, and Chess Camp Girls. I don't know which of those I like the best, and who knows what actually won the best team name prize in the South. The Amateur Team West had quite a number of team names that are fairly good, and actually the Amateur Team West I think is the only one of the 4 events where they give away 3 team name prizes. The others may want to consider that idea, maybe not. It's an organizer's discretion. I'm not sure any of the other 3 events besides the West give out more than 1 team name prize. Although there are, of course, team gimmick prizes as well. The West, they had the floorboard, F-L-O-H-R, like the player's name. 4 isolated pawns. Queen rules. Riveting rooks. Check Me If You Can, which was one of the various team name winners. Magnanimous Magnuses. Tongue twister, that one. 100% Lady Chess Moves, an all-female team. We ran out of tranquilizer pills. Where can we get more? I'm not sure about that name, what it references. Maybe somebody will let me know sometime. Blunder Masters, which was the third best team name. Pandemic Toilet Paper Hoarders. Don't throw in the towel, T-A-L. Referencing a certain phone call from Donald Trump. Find me 11,780 more pawns. A good name. Quarren Teammates. Socially distant opposition. Back ranked by 2020. By the way, I'm into the East here. Let me go back to the rest of the last of the West. The best team name in that was by 4 players, all rated under 1,000. Their team name, Please Don't Cheat. We're bad enough as it is. Back to the amateur team East names. We have My Pawn's Not Isolated, It's Socially Distant. Pawns of the Pandemic. 2020 equals Zugzwang. Hydroxychloroquines, or something like that. It's a little hard for me to actually say all that. Vaccimators. Knights Unmasked in a Pandemic. Insufficient Stimulus Check, referring to the checks that the U.S. government has sent out to individuals. Masked Opposition. Morphe in a Mask. Vaccinated on the 8th rank. And then finally we have the amateur team North. Best team name was Pawn Appetit. There was also the names such as the Covidians, Quarantine, one word, Isolated COVID Pawn, Girls United, all-female team, Masked Force, Knights of the Checkered Table, the Spore Pawns, May the Fork Be With You, a perennial at the event actually. I think that team always uses that team name. Pawn Intended, the Pickup Pawn, Promoted Queens, and We Will Rook You. As I mentioned, there are costume prizes at the amateur team North and the amateur team East. I'm not sure exactly how the winners were determined since everything was online. I imagine that meant somebody wearing a costume while I played, or not somebody but the entire team doing so, which if the team was not all in one location really probably was a challenge. The other thing is that along with the best team costume or theme, the amateur team East has a number of raffle prizes usually. I'm not sure how that worked this year since it was all online. They actually, unlike the North, have the team costume and team theme or gimmick separated out into 2 different prizes. As a result, it's quite common for there to be singing team songs or whatever at the amateur team East. To my knowledge, this has never happened at any of the other events. No team singing, although I one year tried to get my teammates to go along with my song related to our team name, Bohemian Chess Rhapsody. I altered the lyrics to a Queen song. We play this game time after time. We miscalculated. We had to resign. Bad mistakes. We've made a slew. We've hung our king a time or two. Though we aren't the champions, we aren't the champions of the chess world. Though I didn't get anybody to sing, and I wasn't going to do a solo act, I did have the lyrics printed out, and people were able to come by and appreciate them. I got a number of smiles, nods, thumbs ups. But the East regularly does that sort of thing. The Amateur Team East, when it's IPC, in-person chess, also quite often has hired entertainment in terms of singers for in-between rounds, or somebody to maybe do the national anthem before the event begins. There's a reason why the Amateur Team East likes to bill itself as the World Amateur Team, because they really try to put on a spectacle. One of these years I will have to actually attend in person, something I am interested in. I am slightly disappointed in that nobody came up with the idea as far as a team theme or team gimmick to call themselves Support the Rank and File, with the gimmick or theme to be that for each win and for any actual prize winnings, should that happen, that all that would go to be towards donations of masks to either local hospitals or the frontline first responders. That would have been a very nice gesture and a very nice thing to have happened, but nobody came up with that idea. There weren't real, even though this was an online event for this year only, there were surprisingly few online related names. I would have thought there might have been more. Same with more related to the U.S. politics, the U.S. election. Fortunately, there were no biding your time or other puns on Biden versus Biden. And still, for the online, online opposition maybe, I don't know what people could have come up with as far as online names. Might be fun to brainstorm with people about that. I did think of one thing because although some of these events were held on chess.com, some were held on the Internet Chess Club. So a good team name might have been ICC, but copying my opponent's moves didn't work. That about covers everything, I would say. I will leave you with a piece of chess wisdom from FM Dr. Eugene Martinovsky, who has passed away quite a number of years ago. He nearly lost to a player well over 600 points lower rated than him. He got careless and sloppy in his game, but he still somehow managed to win. Afterwards, he wrote, "I must respect my opponent, no matter how much of a patzer he is." Wonderful piece of advice, something a lot of people really should take to heart. That's it for now. So until next time, goodbye, good luck, and good chess. Once again, later.